Cursed mode is unlocked through beating the main quest on Ashes of the Damned. This comes straight from Kevin Drew.
The idea is that once you finish the main quest on a map, we unlock these things that we call relics. And so you're choosing how you want to make the mode harder.
Once you finish the Easter egg, you'll earn your first relic and gain access to this classic mode. You'll also be able to find relics in the map. These relics correlate to different nerfs, such as having a 4 perk limit. It's not confirmed yet whether relics are exclusive to Cursed mode or if they'll appear in other modes as well. Cursed mode itself only guarantees a starting pistol, no minimap, no exfil, and the classic point system. Treyarch claim this new point system is inspired by Black Ops 3, but in reality, that system has been in place since Black Ops 1. Now, this sounds great, but the fact that the classic mode is locked behind beating the quest is not a good sign to me. Most people want the classic mode to be available on launch. We want it to be an option right alongside the Modern Zombies standard mode. Locking it behind Easter egg completion does not seem like a good idea to me personally. It won't matter to the, 10% of hardcore players like myself and my friends, but to the 90% of casual players that might want to try this mode out, they probably never will. If you look at the stats on the achievements for Black Ops 6, only 2.8% of people have beaten Liberty Falls on Steam, and only 6% of players have beaten the quest on Xbox. Most players never received the Project Janus skin for the ray gun or Maya skin for beating Terminus, as that map was even worse, with Steam having a 1.8% completion rate, Xbox at a 3.15% completion rate. I don't have PlayStation, so I can't tell you what the numbers are, but I could take a guess that they're probably similar. The majority of the player base never received any of that content, which is okay on one hand, as those are items you have to earn to use, and it is cool for us Zombies fans to finally have something we can use and show off with in-game, and even in other modes like Warzone and multiplayer. It becomes an issue when the content in question is a full game mode, more specifically, a classic mode that the majority of the player base wants back. This is literally what Treyarch keeps referencing in their advertising for Zombies, yet they're putting it behind a grind that most casual players will never complete. By doing that, the very thing you advertised as classic Zombies returning ends up inaccessible for most of your audience. So the way Cursed mode works is very similar to the similarly named relic system from Extinction on Call of Duty Ghosts, which, first off, gotta glaze Extinction for a second. This game mode is great. If you like classic Zombies or modern, go back and play this. It is 100% worth your time. Just make sure it's on sale before you purchase it. I'm sorry, I just had to say that. The relics in Extinction would nerf the player, such as only being stuck with your pistol, smaller wallet, where you could only hold 3K instead of the usual 6, or Mortal, where the classes were unavailable. You get the gist. For Black Ops 7 Zombies, you're able to apply modifications to your match before you start and take away modern mechanics. Treyarch describes some of the modifiers in this quote. Several of these modifiers can enable further restrictions that longtime fans will find familiar, like a limit of 4 Perca-Colas or the removal of ammo caches. In other words, all of the modern Zombies mechanics, or at least some of them at launch, will be removed. You can remove crafting tables, bring back the 4 perk limit, removing ammo caches, stuff like this, and hopefully remove salvage drops and the pack-a-punch tiers along with weapon rarity. Okay, so this is me from the future after the COD Next event or whatever. All the, we need you on...
We miss you. We need you.
Now, what I was saying before this post is that Cursed mode might actually give us the ability to turn off certain modern Zombies mechanics as you unlock more relics with future maps. I brought up the crafting table as a point earlier, right? So let's run with that. Imagine Treyarch adds a handful of new relics with the nuked New York map with Season 1. One of those new relics could be you make it to round 50 without ever touching the crafting table or purchasing a score streak. For Classic fans, the reward is getting to play Cursed mode without a crafting table. And if you beat the Easter egg with that relic equipped, you get rewarded with something like adding specific tacticals to the mystery box, right? So, for example, maybe you could set it so that the only tactical you can pull is the Gersh device. That's a throwback to when monkey bombs and Gersh devices were in the box. And honestly, something the newer Treyarch titles have been missing. Another idea is like, I don't know, when you beat a round from World at War to Black Ops 3, you'd earn 2 grenades to use for the round. Maybe the reward could be something like that, where you earn 2 of your tacticals back for the round. I know that these kind of go against the new mystery box changes that Treyarch said, but I feel like having the Gersh device be something in the box is useful, but also a callback to classic zombies. And I'm specifically saying like the cool tacticals, like the monkey bomb, even EMPs, even though they're kind of dumb, like the time bomb. Those types of grenades should be in the box. Something like stims, concussions, those don't need to be in the box, okay? They don't. Like, regular grenades have become mini wonder weapons in modern zombies. They kill zombies on any round now with the modern health systems. I'd like to see something that powerful placed into a reward for a side Easter egg. For example, like Spider Bait on Zetsubo or the Dragon Strike on Golrod. Something like the Mutant Injection should have only been on Terminus because it fit the map, but they should have made the way to earn the injection through an Easter egg and balance it through only having one per round. When I see the new Mutant Injection, but for the Disciple, it isn't as cool as earning something like the Gauntlet or Ragnarok's as a specialist weapon. Realistically, I doubt new Treyarch would lock something like the injections behind an Easter egg because they probably want everyone to have access to them for accessibility reasons. But in my opinion, that's exactly why they should. These tools were insane for high rounding in Black Ops 6, and locking them behind an Easter egg would make them feel like a rewarding, high-skill option rather than just another crutch. If they were balanced so you only got one use per round, they'd add depth to the mode without completely breaking it. In the Black Ops 7 gameplay we've seen, the crafting table didn't have either injection available. Though, to be fair, a lot of other features were missing too, so that's probably just because it was an early build. Still, it would be much more satisfying if Treyarch made the injections something you had to earn, rather than playing the game until you get 2,500 salvage. But I guess we'll see when the game launches and people start figuring out Easter eggs and stuff. Either way, I just wanted to add that little tangent in because of the tweet that Treyarch posted. The goal of this mode is to have a World at War to Black Ops 3 style experience. Classic zombies on the new game's engine and new maps along with new weapons and perks. This is exactly what the majority of the player base has been asking for.
Hey, finally!
That's what we've been waiting for!
The problem isn't the system itself, it's that you have to earn the right to play it. By putting it behind an Easter egg, Treyarch is making most casual players wait weeks or never even getting the chance to experience classic zombies, which completely defeats the purpose of advertising it as returning. Now, this isn't the first time Treyarch teased something as classic zombies. They did this with Cold War, Vanguard, and Black Ops 6. The first gameplay that was sent out to YouTubers for Black Ops 6 carefully avoided showing the HUD, which was the biggest complaint about the game pre-launch. Salvage and armor were in the trailer, but only for like a split second, so most casual viewers wouldn't even notice, and to ensure that there wouldn't be backlash, which is smart from a marketing perspective. But if Treyarch knew these mechanics were already divisive, why not just change or improve them? Regardless, the game was advertised as classic round-based zombies, and when players got the game, a lot of those classic elements weren't there. Instead, it played more like Warzone zombies, Black Ops 4, Black Ops Cold War zombies, which, yes, you would expect the next Treyarch Zombies game to be similar in mechanics and gameplay, just like Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 2. The difference here is that Treyarch knowingly advertised the modern zombies games as if they're classic experiences. People see round-based zombies returning, or classic zombies is back, and then they get the game and it's just Cold War Zombies 2. Secondly, putting cursed mode behind an Easter egg completion is almost like a worse version of Drip Feed. The Aether Blade Easter egg got a ton of backlash due to its implementation and how you were able to receive it, or more so, when you were able to receive it. Recently, MrRoflWaffles was able to play the Transit remake early with other content creators. At this event, he was able to speak to two Treyarch developers about the Aether Blade Easter egg and how controversial it was.
Roll it. When I was at Treyarch, we talked to them about the Mr. Peaks Easter egg in Reckoning. And we were like, listen, it's what, the Aether knife, right? And you needed to use the Mr. Peaks field upgrade. And we said to them, like, transparently, this is dreadful. Like, never ever do this again. And the two Treyarch devs that we were talking to at the time were both like, we know and we agree. And it was very strange. It sort of sounded like some external cosmic force had caused them to make the decision that they made, and then it was maybe like too late to change it by the time that they were able to sort of put their seal of approval on it. It was just like, well, we have to kind of ship this now. So it was quite confusing, but it sounded like something that they really recognized was not a good experience. So I'm hopeful that they've learned lessons from that then do not end up applying to the secrets in this. Because if they do, it's going to suck ass.
Clearly, the Treyarch developers realize how bad a drip-fed, locked-off Easter egg isn't a good move. The funny thing is that not even a month after the Aether Blade Easter egg is solved, not even a month later, the Treyarch devs are inadvertently locking a whole game mode off from the majority. A game mode that said majority wants to actually play. The people excited for Cursed mode aren't necessarily the same people who enjoy grinding Easter eggs. They don't want to shoot alien rocks 5 times. They don't want to defuse bombs. They don't want to get shot at in a zombies mode. They just want to load up the game and play zombies the way it was. Cursed mode should be what classic zombies is. A foundation every player loves with new upgraded maps, new mechanics like tack sprinting, sliding, and returning mechanics like dolphin diving so you can improve upon something old. For example, take PhD Flopper in Black Ops 6. I'll ignore how broken it is if somebody uses macros or how the zombie health cap system itself makes explosives stronger than most of the modern wonder weapons. It's not even a debate with the other guns in the game. It's laughable. It's really funny how Treyarch tried to remove PhD from Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 because it was too overpowered back then with the infinitely scaling zombies health. But by Black Ops 4 and Cold War, every high round strat revolved around using explosives anyway. Also, giving stamina the immune to fall damage ability as an augment instead of keeping it built into PhD is not right. But for a second, I'll say that it is very cool to have the ability to slide into zombies and flop with PhD. Even if flopping is a little obsolete due to sliding with macros and the health systems for the zombies. I mean, honestly, why would you even PhD flop in these games when you can spam launchers or a ray gun at the floor?
However,
in my opinion, that is one of the best examples of incorporating something new with something old. That is the kind of design that works for all players as a new, fresh experience while respecting the past and, most importantly, letting you actually use it instead of half-assing it or just locking it away and not bringing it back. Some people might look at Cursed mode being locked behind the Easter egg completions and say it's intentionally being done by Treyarch to make the standard mechanics look better in comparison. It could also be said that the Cursed mode is locked behind an Easter egg to artificially inflate playtime in standard mode. That way, they can point to the statistics and claim, see, most players prefer standard mode, which could then be used as a justification to cut Cursed mode from future titles if it doesn't work out in Black Ops 7. I personally don't think that's the case, as Treyarch seemingly wants to bring back the classic zombies experience, but I do think this perception is worth acknowledging. A similar situation happened with Blizzard when they brought back 6v6 to Overwatch 2. Before fully committing with 6v6 for Overwatch 2, Blizzard tested the format on Overwatch Classic in November 2024. This was a limited time event that restored old abilities for heroes in their broken states, character quotes, maps, and the 6 vs 6 format from the original Overwatch. Then, in December 2024, they introduced 6v6 as an experimental playlist inside Overwatch 2 itself. Blizzard was always going to go back and release a 6v6 mode. The difference was that Overwatch Classic served as a nostalgia-driven event to build hype, while the December update was the real testing ground to determine if 6v6 could actually function in Overwatch 2 moving forward. This let Blizzard test community interest and balance changes before deciding how far to expand it. In the same way, Treyarch releasing Cursed mode doesn't feel like sabotage in the exact sense with Blizzard, but let's be real. Locking this classic mode behind Easter egg completions absolutely comes across this way. Instead of being accessible at launch, it feels artificially gated to control playtime and stretch engagement. I keep seeing comments that are in the same vein as, so I have to earn classic zombies by grinding modern zombies first. I personally dislike that. It's not good for casuals, and it could risk sending the wrong message about how much Treyarch actually values a true classic mode. That being said, I see Cursed mode more as an early version of what the mode could be. It's very similar to how Treyarch reworked Grief in Black Ops 6. That mode did not work because of the modern zombies mechanics. They had to update it multiple times to finally have it play somewhat like the original. That was 100% because of the modern mechanics. Melee weapons were insanely broken, which basically kept casuals off the mode forever. The core problem was simple. The modern systems kept clashing with what made the old mode work and fun. The difference here is that player feedback has to be the driving force. If people like myself want this classic zombies experience on the new game, the new engine, then everyone who feels that way needs to be vocal about what relics, mechanics, and tuning changes are necessary. Things like zombie speed, health scaling, damage output, and big features like salvage, crafting tables, weapon rarities, and triple pack-a-punch being removed or reworked. And honestly, fixing pack-a-punch and weapon rarity is very easy. Just make every base gun have the damage output of a gold rarity weapon, then make pack-a-punch a flat 5,000 points like it used to be, and give it the current triple pack-a-punch stats. Very simple fix. The standard mode people can keep the 50,000 points to pack a punch and the extra like 4 rarity tiers. They can keep that. That's for them. That's cool. But for cursed classic zombies, just make pack a punch be the be all end all of upgrading your weapon. Now, let me get
gut level.
Treyarch adding a few nostalgic elements and mechanics is an excellent start, and it clearly shows they've heard the backlash over the years for zombies to return to its roots. But they still haven't addressed the real issues. Salvage, the possibility of armor being replaced with overhealth, which means that Treyarch did not tune the zombies accordingly for cursed mode, and score streaks you can just buy from a menu instead of earning through Easter eggs. There is plenty more that I could say, but I'll address that in a video I've been working on for a while now. But unless those fundamental mechanics are addressed by Treyarch, cursed mode could just be a half measure of nostalgia instead of genuine return to form. So what's the message here? Keep holding modern zombies accountable and genuinely criticize its mechanics because it works. Look at Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 zombies, especially Black Ops 3 with Zombies Chronicles. Remember how the M1911 wasn't the starting pistol on those maps at first? People criticized it and we got it back in the game. Now, some people aren't going to be the most polite with complaints, but Treyarch did add it into the game. That is an example of how feedback shapes the game. After 7 years, Treyarch has finally acknowledged the classic Zombies fans directly. They seem ready to give us a true classic game mode. I need to make one last statement for this video because Treyarch changed the requirement for cursed mode. This comes from one of those Twitter leaker guys, and he says in reference to the unlock requirement, heard that it got changed to something less annoying. Now, first off, it's great that Treyarch changed the unlock requirement for cursed mode from completing the Easter egg to something less annoying, but let's be real for a second. The guy leaking this info literally called the original requirement quote-unquote annoying. What does that tell you about the current state of zombies? If even a random leaker, who probably isn't some diehard zombies fan, or maybe he is, I don't know, but he straight up calls it annoying. To me, that says a lot about how overcomplicated or frustrating the design has become for the average player. So honestly, why not just go all the way and remove the requirement entirely? For everything modern zombies has changed, you'd think Treyarch would be more open and transparent with the player base, especially when leaks are already revealing everything in the game anyway. If they're willing to bend the knee and make the unlock method easier, then why not just fully remove it? Let players experience cursed mode right away and focus on discovering and completing relics. That should be the real challenge of cursed mode. Also, speaking of all this classic branding, Treyarch's been advertising modern zombies as classic round-based zombies for a while now, right? I think I said that a lot in this video. There's another leak from the Hey I'm Alex guy showing the list of modes for zombies, and one of the options literally says RBZ Classic with the description Classic Round-Based Zombies. That's probably the internal name for cursed mode if I had to take a guess, though the leaker didn't confirm or deny that. If it is the internal name for the mode, Treyarch is literally calling it Classic Round-Based Zombies. So hopefully it is finally the classic zombies everybody has been asking for. If Treyarch actually knocks it out of the park with this one, and cursed mode really is the classic round-based zombies experience we've been asking for, then this could be the start of something great for the mode again. This is probably the closest we will ever get to a classic zombies experience in modern day. And if it can meet the tough but realistic standards of the World at War to Black Ops 3 era, then zombies will finally be back on top. Thank you for watching and have a good one.